It's like, hey Tyler, you want this can?
This bitch empty. Eat.
Find a spot around the fireplace, you goons. It's time for another tale of Casual Master Quest.
Aloha, and welcome to another episode of Casual Master Quest. This is episode 22.
That is correct.
It is Monday or Saturday, depending on who you are, where you are. We have a very special guest with us today. I'm your host, Nick.
Which one is it, Nick?
I don't know, Tyler. Who
are you introducing first? Yourself?
All right. I'm going to introduce myself first.
Ooh.
I'm your host for the episode, Nick. This is a strange newfound power that I have that I don't know what to do with.
Partner power.
I'm as you would know, I'm joined by my co-host Tyler in this other corner in his little.
Hello, my name is Tyler. I guess I should assume the role of Nick. I've been playing a lot of this and you guys should play it. Don't worry about me though, Sudi. Could you talk about the special guest, please?
We're joined by a very special guest with us today. We have Vicky, the geek chick, Gek.
Hello.
Vicky. Welcome. Oh man.
Right.
This is a new phenomenon for me because I have not been in the presence of too many streamers, especially ones that are further up the ranks in terms of making it big out there. Now, I know you said that you weren't professional, but looking at your background, you got quite the setup there. I mean, if you're not like partner level of material right now at this point, then you sure in heck look like it. Wow.
I definitely try. You know, it's all about appearances. If you gotta like fake it till you make it kind of thing. So
oh yeah,
look
like
worth it.
Right now, I'm the #1 stream. Like I talk with Ninja every once in a while, and he's like, I wish I could be half as good as you. But it's like, it's okay. I mean, if you had a 30-inch high, rendition of Skyward Sword Link sitting in the background with a Pikachu, I mean,
then you clearly haven't made it yet.
That's all that you need. As long as you have the materials like the Funko Pops and like the plushies and all that, you don't need to actually be a good streamer. You just have to have the accessories.
Yeah, you just gotta look good. Like right now, I'm missing the one final piece in order to make it to the top, the very top. Like I'm up there, but I plateaued a little bit. There's a peak I'm missing, and I need to frame and put on the wall the PlayStation Vita.
There you go.
I've gotten a PlayStation Vita. I played it. I haven't touched it for a couple of years, but then I started playing one particular game. We'll be talking about that soon, but I think it's safe to say that son of a bitch is going on the wall because I will not touch it again.
About damn time.
Thank God. Let that Vita die. Like further up, if you were to look higher up, I got the Game Boy Color sitting up there.
Oh, nice.
But the Vita is also long gone dead. I just wanted to pay its respects, and into the hole it goes. So enough about me, though. Nick, how's your day been going, buddy?
My day started about 30 minutes ago.
Oh,
so
good morning.
Okay, 30 minutes is a bit much, but like I rolled out of bed an hour and a half ago.
Oh, an hour and a half.
Yeah, an hour and a half. It's a big jump from 30 minutes.
Is this Monday or Saturday? Because you picked both at the same time, and quite frankly,
both. It is honestly, it is both days simultaneously.
So it's Sunday. We're now in Sunday. We're just gonna be wrong both ways.
That's a fair in between. Yeah, so it's a Sunday.
Sunday fun day.
Sunday fun day.
Sunday fun day with Vicky on the line.
Exactly. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, no, my day's been okay. I've had a slow week, but let's not talk about me, and let's not talk about you, Tyler. Vicky, how's your week been?
Oh, okay, sure, yes.
My week's been kind of crazy. Just kind of like a lot of grinding with Destiny.
Ooh, grinding with Destiny. We have not talked about Destiny. Now, this came out last week, correct?
Just Destiny. Yeah, it's very new. It came out like 3 days ago.
I'm gonna say I know Destiny came out about 4 weeks ago, but they decided to fix it and release Destiny with their first good expansion of Forsaken. And you've been grinding on this. Now, I shouldn't compare EP levels, but I will do this anyways. Let me hear that magical number. What do you got going on over here, Vicky?
As far as like power level goes, I'm pretty low.
Ooh.
I'm like
define low. Vicky.
I'm like 580 something.
Oh,
that is quite
be still my beating heart.
I've had really bad RNG. Like I've been doing things like all my quests, all my missions, and I just haven't gotten good drops. So I'm sitting at like 580 something.
Okay. And how about you, Nick? What are you hanging at?
I didn't play much this week, so I stayed at 590.
Ooh. Look at me. Meanwhile,
No big deal.
I also have not touched. I am apparently the amateur rookie of the group by far. I'm at a lowly 565, 566 right now. I have not rated yet, but admittedly, I realize that Nick is much more hardcore about the game. Plus, I got distracted by a non-particular other game that we'll be also talking about later.
Yeah.
But you've been having some fun stuff happen to you this week on your social media. What's going on over on that end?
So today I woke up and the first thing I woke up to was my friend, one of my mods, texting me and being like, "Hey, do you know that your Twitter account is suspended?" So I was like, "No."
Ooh, fun day, not
I went online.
Sunday.
I know, right? And I went online and I did their whole like CAPTCHA thing where you have to be like, how many streetlights are in this picture? How many cars are on the street for like 10 minutes? And then it got unlocked and then I noticed that it had wiped all the people that I had followed, which is slowly getting back to normal as of right now. I have my timeline back. But basically the problem with Twitter is that you really don't have a direct line to anyone unless you are verified or unless you have a friend.
Yeah, there's no red phone saying, "Hello, President Twitter.
Yeah.
Something done screwed up. Please fix it."
I always have problems with Twitter. My Twitter got hacked like 2 years ago and they wanted like $300 to give it back to me. Like not Twitter, obviously, but the person who hacked it. And I feel like if there was some kind of connection, because now there's Twitter gaming and Twitter gaming seems to go to bat for a lot of the content creators. But again, if you're not verified or if you don't have like a super, super large following, it's kind of just like yelling into the void if you have a problem.
Yes. I've realized as a video game streamer that it feels like often you're pissing into an ocean of piss. Everybody's doing it, but you like to hear the sound of your own. But with that poor analogy, so did you figure out what got you suspended in this case?
No, because the weird thing about Twitter is that they don't give you a reason why you were suspended. They don't say like you violated this exact rule, so please.
I know, it's like just give me a reason, just a
little
bit's enough.
I had unusual activity on my account, which I don't know what that means. I didn't tweet anything unusual. So
I mean, did you say like Destiny 2 is starting to slip here? Bungie, you better step it up, and Bungie's like, oh hell no.
I've said that before. I've said that to their face. So it's fine.
Silver's a terrible idea. Eververse needs to be removed. Oh gosh. Oh man. Whew. Those are.
No, I was at the Bungie summit, so we had that conversation face to face.
Oh, you had the talk with the developers.
We had the talk.
Wow, the talk. The sit down, Bungie. We need to fix this shit. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't realize I was in the presence of such such influence.
So if the last word comes back, you're welcome. You're also welcome for random rolls on guns.
See, this is the problem. All you content creators are just overhyping us. You damn content creators.
Vicky, are you responsible for the chicken? Because if so, thank you.
I'm not. I'm only responsible for. I pushed the random rolls coming back.
Did you push the random rolls for Edge Transit too? Because I feel like somebody misrepresented that field a little bit.
I actually designed the Edge Transit. No, I don't.
Boy,
they just pulled that out.
Evil. It's so evil. It makes me want to cry.
I know, right? They were like, "What can make them really mad? We're doing so much good. What can annoy them?"
I mean, it's not even a bad weapon in my eyes. Like,
no, it's really not. Actually, it's just too many.
The fact that we keep seeing the same thing over and over. It's like,
yeah.
I believe the specific term used by Bungie was aggressive drop rates.
Aggressive. Very aggressive.
As you described teabagging as, I think it was tactical kneeling or something like that?
Tactical crouching.
Oh, okay, yes.
Respect kneels.
Respect kneels is what a lot of people say, yeah.
Anything else that's been going on? I know I'm stealing Nick's title immediately, but
no, that's fine. Yeah, I'm comfortable back here in my position, in my spot back here.
You're the shadow president. Sometimes I do my flair. Sorry, Vicky.
Okay, we have a Destiny segment coming up, so it's
that's true. We
just prefaced the whole.
As far as like anything else coming up, I might be going to BlizzCon. I don't know.
Nice.
If I am. I'm waiting to hear back. Eventually, yeah. I'm going to Canada in 10 days for something I cannot speak about, but I am going to Canada.
Sure. If you don't mind me asking, what part of Canada? Are you able to detail that?
Vancouver.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nick's all giddy over here. Okay.
So I'm excited.
Have you been to BlizzCon before?
No. You know what? I wasn't a huge Blizzard person until maybe like 3 years ago.
Okay.
And then I got into WoW, and then I got into Overwatch, so.
Ooh, what kind of class do you like to main as when you play WoW?
My highest is an undead warrior, but I really like playing like casters more so. Like I have a mage and I have a warlock, but they're not as leveled as my warriors.
So for the horde.
Yes, for the horde. Because my boyfriend's been playing WoW since vanilla, so he got me into it, and he was like, "Well, you have to be horde and you have to be warrior because we need a DPS." And I was like, so I was kind of forced into the role.
Okay, with that I show you my sympathy because Laktargar is for the sissies, of course, for the Alliance. Hail the king. Anyways, I have actually never even bought a virtual ticket, so I've never gotten to see BlizzCon firsthand, secondhand, virtual hand, whatever you call it at this point. When is
you
BlizzCon?
might like it this year.
Yeah,
I heard you get to play the vanilla test servers if you buy a virtual ticket.
Oh,
yeah.
Man, I didn't I don't know about you. I did not get to start playing World of Warcraft until Wrath of the Lich King, so it's been a while since I didn't get to go that far back.
Yeah,
I did that for the what are they called? Are they called legendaries? Sulfuris, the Hand of Ragnaros.
Yeah.
That was one of the
I'm
few
not that
things.
far back. I'm a noob.
Oh, it's okay. You and I both. I was just a noob historian that wanted to be cool, and so far the only result of me being able to get that is seeing a couple of horde walk up to me. We didn't fight each other, but they saw me holding this thing in my hand. I saw them linking it, but it was in Orcish, so it's like, oh, like
yeah, you
the other person, shows, oh yeah, oh, I was like, oh, I think they're pointing at my weapon. Maybe.
Yeah, they probably were like, ooh, that's
all right.
Nice.
I was born a rambling man, and enough song Twitters or mentions I can put here. Nick, take it away. Go ahead and continue the flow. You decide how this goes.
Right, Tyler.
Yes.
How's
Nick.
your week been?
Oh, fantastic! I am on the second week of my job as a third shift truck driver. In fact, it was yesterday, which technically, I guess, in this virtual reality is Saturday now, since Sunday.
Yep. Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday fun day.
Yep.
Got to do everything by myself for the first time, and that was it was actually very comfortable because I thought I'd be frightened, not having anybody over my shoulder, whatnot. But I realized the person I was with was he was very critical about the silly stuff. Now, I don't wish to be ageist, but this gentleman was 65 years old versus me 27. That's
racist, dude.
He's the oldest veteran of our drivers, and when it was like it's a 35 mile per hour curb, and he catches me at 38, he lets me know with vigorous detail, and it just got old. It's like, I'm not going to roll over, okay? But it was also, anxiety inducing because, I opened the door and the alarm's getting ready to go off, and I got to figure out the number and make sure the alarm, it's weird because I'll push in the 4-button code and then I'll hit the final button and everything goes quiet. And it's like 3 seconds of dead silence. It's like, did I fuck up? I hear ding. Oh, thank God. Because then I'd have 45 seconds to call somebody at 3 a.m. to try to figure out what the hell's going on. But so far, the biggest thing has been deer. Driving up in northern Michigan and all that stuff, deer have been everywhere. And there's points where deer are in the yard of the store that I'm just trying to get into. So I got to drive them out of the yard. But beyond that, with the old, I shouldn't call him old fart, but I call it to his face. So, humor him. But my grandfather, trainer, because I'm not ageist, would not let me listen to any video game podcasts. He said it was too distracting.
Yikes.
It was too boring. Comedy podcast? No, it was out of the works. So I was like, okay, I'm going to start naming off subjects, and you tell me if it's okay or not. Because we couldn't use the radio because he didn't have an antenna. So we were screwed.
So what do you do?
So I named one podcast. It's called the World War II History Podcast. And his eyes light up. He's like, I watched this on the History Channel. This is something interesting. I'm like, okay, just so you know, it's about Winston Churchill. To this, I'm mildly interested, kind of like looking at a car accident from afar. It's like, everyone's okay. There's no, fatality, so it's nothing gruesome, but it's like, I kind of want to watch it, but not really. And that's, World War II's history at this point. But he's already legs into the quicksand, interested in listening to this. So I got to listen to about 40 hours of World War II history. So if you want to ask me about Winston Churchill and
you got it covered.
Old Winnie, he's my boy now apparently. But I've been huge on that. We'll talk about video games afterwards. But what about you, Nick? Tell me about it. What's going on your end?
Right. I know I put this down, but I can't talk about it. But we have a problem in class with one of our courses where a certain individual is lying about.
If you want to, I can blur out your face and kind of garble your voice a little bit.
Just put like a black bar over my. Wait, there's no video recording.
I'll just raise your voice a little bit higher.
This person touched me there.
No, that's not what happened.
Yikes, dude. Yikes.
I'm sorry. I was looking off into the distance.
Right. One of our teachers is lying about how much work they're doing, and the money that goes into paying them comes out from the school's budget that I'm paying for.
Now, I want to ask a question here.
Yes.
You just said you could not talk about this in detail.
Yeah, and then I stopped caring. Like, I really just stopped caring because it's been 6 weeks. I pay 2,400 Canadian dollars a semester a course. It's not my concern that we have shitty teachers, right?
Fair enough.
So beyond that, I've not been sleeping much. I've not been playing much because school's really piled on this week. I'm, in the process of making a resume, cover letter, e-portfolio because I'm looking for internships next semester. And so there's just been a big time crunch. But yeah, that's it. And so we're gonna go on to next segment right here on the show. This is going to be what you've been playing.
What we've been playing? Is this a video game podcast?
This is a video game podcast. We don't only just ramble about other things about World War II and life. I think we're just gonna go between the two of us real quick because we haven't been doing much.
Twitter suspensions. Those I'm gonna say that's
and the Twitter suspensions.
Yeah, the Twitter suspensions.
Tyler, what have you been playing?
What have I been playing? Now, I realize that's going to be a little bit light on me this week because adjusting to a heavier, demanding job and lifestyle. I could say that I played a little bit more of Dragalia Lost. However, I could tell you I've only played about 15 minutes more of that. And I've discovered a couple of cool things from my best friend who played a lot of it because he sits down and he does auditing for hotels and otherwise he just sits there and plays on his Switch. You can apparently raid and do stuff like that in this mobile game. Now, Vicky, have you heard of Dragalia Lost?
I have heard of it. I've never played it though.
Okay. It's what you can imagine as a gacha game, but I was just blown away that you can team up with other friends if you want to and go through actual dungeons and raids through your phone. The idea of playing a raid through your phone was just like, okay. And I was like, I gotta. Are you okay there, Nick? You look like you have a foul face, like the word phones and raids.
No, I'm okay. I plugged in my phone. I plugged my phone to charge it.
Yes.
And it turned off my camera.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
I was just a little confused. I'm okay though. Carry on.
And I'm sure I'll save the dessert for last. That is Destiny, because I'm sure we're all going to want to talk about it. I've been playing a unhealthy amount of Pixelmon. Oh man, there's so much to jump in here. I am officially a breeder. I now breed Pokemon on this Minecraft server. And I've been making a lot of money that way. And I've been spending most of my time not only getting a bunch of fossils to sell off the Pokemon, a la Team Rocket style, as I discussed last week, I now am getting eggs at the wazoo. Like, I was the breeding type over in actual Pokemon games. And so I thought it would be a similar process and all that with here. And it is for the most part. But at the same time, it's much more like every step that I got to do demands attention much more than I would in a normal Pokemon game trying to breed. Because to me, Sun and Moon, you get your eggs, you make them happy together at the daycare, and then you just spin in a circle for 5 minutes with the Tauros until the lady starts crossing her arms so you can grab another egg. But this is much more different. But at the same time, me and my best friend Brandon, we decided to team up. We put spots down to claim our land, and now we have a large underground bunker with about 24 ranches of different Pokemon just clouded together. Like, if PETA were to come in, I would be stopped immediately. Like, this looks horrifying. I got 6 Pokemon on each square block area just being forced to copulate each other, and like the whole process is to collect their eggs. Like, it's almost like a chicken farm for Pokemon. It's bad, man. It's bad. Like, I feel dirty, but at the same time, my main goal is to get a Destiny knot so I can professionally breed them, which is kind of worse. Like, my main goal is to just do it a more focused way on it. But that's Pixelmon. Right. I've been getting money. Built
That's
a
pretty
fortress.
cool. I didn't know that existed.
Oh, Pixel, like the idea of a Minecraft-based Pokemon thing?
Yeah. And it's
Okay.
actually in like a Minecraft server.
Yes. Like
That's pretty cool.
you can either play Minecraft, you can play Pokemon. Like I focused my first 10, 20 hours, like I wanted to build build a house.
Right.
But then it's like, okay, I can build a Pokemon Center in it too. And so I go out into the world, I catch Pokemon, I come back. The server in particular, I want to give them full credit because it's actually been fun. It's called Pixel Spark. You can check it out on there's a program called Technic Launcher, which you can get all your Minecraft mods and all that stuff through their Technic Launcher to Pixel Spark. Then I play the second of the 5 servers on that called Generations. So for anybody interested in listening, I'm going to say it one more time. Technic Launcher, get it. You just need a Minecraft account. Get Pixel Spark from that. And then once you're in there, Generations. And there you can build your own house and you can catch your own Pokemon. And there's tournaments every weekend. Right now,
Oh, are there?
fighting. Yeah, they're fighting each other.
Wow.
There's dedicated people that own gyms, so you can fight people with level 56, dragon types and try to get a dragon.
That's really dope.
And I haven't seen a Elite Four yet, but the server I'm on is active enough that there's active breeders. There's a GTS where if I want to search for Pokemon or rare candy or whatnot, and every half hour there's a chance that a legendary would just start flying around in the wild, and everybody just goes apeshit crazy trying to hunt it down. And I was one of them. And so far, my biggest joy has been, I mentioned the story before last week. I'm going to lightly mention it again. You can pick a starter. My starter was Squirtle. Pokemon in this game have size put to them. And you can get like 1 through 10 being ginormous, and then 1 being microscopic. And so you can have a very 5-inch high Squirtle if you want to, or you can have one that's about 4 feet tall. And so I got the second biggest, and I was like, why is my Squirtle so tiny? I didn't know the whole size thing. And then I was like, oh, it'll just turn big when it's Blastoise. Blastoise is now 2 feet tall. It's like, what's going on here? There's a problem. And it's like, maybe everything's just off. But then somebody else came up with a Blastoise, and his Blastoise was taller than him. I'm like, what the hell? Then I discovered that. Then someone gave me a humongous Tyrant. Now, I don't know if you guys remember what a Tyrant is, but it evolves into a Tyrantium, a very large T-Rex. And so having a T-Rex that was about 25 to 30 blocks tall that you could ride running around is hilarious. And I've been breeding a crap ton of Whalmers so I can one day get the largest Pokemon to date and just put it on top of my house so it can just spin around in a circle, its head sticking out of the wall.
God.
But it will be a glorious day. I have had somebody actually show me a Whalmer on top of the house. It will stick out both sides of the house. I will have an open patio so he can spin in a circle and look around to the half of his days. But that is Pixelmon. So something for you guys. That's gaming on my end. Obviously, we'll Destiny 2 a little bit.
Yes. I've been playing. I did one weekly event in Destiny. Because that's all I had time for. And then I played a lot of Overwatch because the new Halloween event launched. And so Junkenstein's Revenge, they didn't really put much, they didn't really make any changes, but it is basically a 4-player PvE horde mode. And you fight zombies that come in, and they haven't changed it much since it launched 3 years ago, but they did say specifically in a developers update a couple of months ago that all their current PvE stuff, they're not really gonna work on them too much because they want to focus on balancing the PvP side of the game, which is what Overwatch focuses on. So really, I've just been trying to grind the loot boxes to get some skins.
Did you get your Moira skin yet, or?
I haven't gotten my Moira skin yet. I really want that Moira skin.
I know you do. That's why I brought it up to see how feverish you get.
That's what everyone seems to be vying for. Is the
no, the more I already got the Witch Mercy skin last event, so I'm okay. My cravings have been satisfied for the most part.
Getting a little warm in here, man.
All right, settle down, Tyler.
I know, right? My wife's nearby. My ring's starting to tingle.
Vicky, what have you been playing?
So So it's funny because I always talk to people about this, but when you're a streamer and video games are your job, it kind of switches over from okay, what games do I want to play as to what games are going to be viable for me to stream. So something that became a fun hobby that's oh, I'm gonna go home from my work and relax on my couch and play video games has now turned into I have to sit here and play this for 8 hours, otherwise my channel is not gonna grow. So I've been playing a lot of Destiny, which we'll talk about. A lot of Fortnite still, and I know some Fortnite people have switched over to Black Ops. Unfortunately, I cannot.
Oh
because
no!
That game has such crazy bad camera sway that I will get extremely motion sickness if I do play it. So and people were like trying to assure me that before the game came out, they were like, "Don't worry, there's probably going to be a way to turn that off," and there's not. So while all of my friends who I usually play Fortnite with are now playing Black Ops, I'm still playing Fortnite. But I do like fewer games.
To character bobbing specifically, right? The
just like the camera like going like this, like back. Yeah, no, I can't do it. I can barely even watch streams of people playing it because it's so bad. And I'm always like, why is that necessary? Because when I run as a human being, my vision doesn't go like back and forth like that.
No, we naturally turn our heads, and whenever we're moving our bodies, so we can, it's kind of like that gif of the cat moving his shoulders around, but the head stays in place.
Yeah, exactly.
Shows Shaq doing the same thing. I mean, we calibrate ourselves, as a human to be able to handle like that, so we can keep our vision focused. But it's like
there's so many games I've had to miss out on, like Far Cry and Sea of Thieves and Hellblade. I wasn't able to play any of those games because they just made me like extremely sick.
Oh, Hellblade, that's
I know.
heartbreaking.
Hellblade, I got like 45 minutes in before I literally had to end the stream and like go puke.
Did you play it like on Steam? Well, did you play it on Steam or PS4? Or it came out for Xbox too, didn't it?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember now. I think I played it on Steam because I remember people saying
Xbox.
Yeah, I played it on Steam because I remember I googled like Hellblade nausea, and a lot of people seem to have the problem, and it said that you could go in and change the files so that you could turn off certain things.
Are you playing VR perchance, or?
No, I can't. I definitely
can't. I was
man, I definitely can't play VR. But besides that, I've been playing this game that just came out yesterday. I just started playing it. Well, it came out in 2000 something, early 2000s. It's called The World
Ends With You. 20 Questions, my favorite.
Yeah, it's called The World Ends With You. It's a JRPG. It came out on the DS like a million years ago, and basically, it's this game about this kid that winds up in this game where if you don't complete the missions that these people give you called the Reapers, you'll die. So you have X amount of time to complete these missions, otherwise you'll die. And basically it's this kid trying to figure out how to get out of this game, and like he meets people along the way. And actually a lot of the characters from this game appeared in Kingdom Hearts. So if you played Kingdom Hearts, you probably recognize a couple of the characters.
Okay.
I watched you play some of it the other day. It was very story intensive.
It's super story intensive, which kind of makes me sad because it is hard to stream story intensive games because a lot of people will just tune out. Or they will, I mean, it's fine if you don't mind having an inactive chat, because when it comes to those games, there's really not a lot to commentate on. Right. So people will kind of just sit back and watch. Kind of like
it's heartbreaking. Like one of my favorite game series is Phoenix Wright, but it's so hard, the idea of trying to, be a streamer for that, or even, do a YouTube Let's Play of that. It's just so text heavy. It is. It's really hard. And I like doing, like when I play a game like that, I like doing voice acting for the different characters. So that adds like a little bit of liveliness to it. Like I did that with Doki Doki Literature Club. And I played Octopath Traveler, but again, I found that really hard to stream because there is not a lot of action. There's a lot of story with little bits of action in between it. So that's really all I've been playing as of right now. I really would love to play Spider-Man. I would love to play Assassin's Creed because I've been hearing good things. I just haven't found the time to like squeeze those into my schedule yet. So are these games like also games you play off stream as well, or do you play other games off stream that you just haven't listed? I honestly don't play games off stream anymore. Okay. It almost feels like you're cheating yourself. It's like this could be content that other people could be watching. That's exactly money. What I think of when I'm like playing something. Like even like the other day, I was raiding in Destiny, and I was like, and I kind of just wasn't feeling really like up to streaming, but I was like, you know what? I'm raiding. I should be streaming because this is content that people enjoy watching. So I should just turn on the stream and stream it. But sometimes I'll play, like if I'm trying to grind something, like if I'm trying to grind Gambit to get like the meatball boss, or if I'm trying to like get a shotgun, I won't stream that because I feel like it's boring. I'll do that off stream, and I'll also play Fortnite off stream because I just like to practice, because Fortnite's a game where like if you don't play it for a week, if you don't play it for a week, you just
totally lose
Right.
like the rhythm.
It stinks because if grinding wasn't such a bore to do, like in terms of watching and whatnot, I'd be playing Pokemon every stream. It would be so nice.
There's so many people who like, a lot of my friends stream like shiny hunting and stuff like that.
Oh,
and that's like what it's very tedious. It's literally just like doing the same thing over and over again.
I mean, there are some streams, and no disrespect to them. There are streams that I call sleeper streams. Streams that I can fall asleep to because I know they're not going to shout or anything, unless they get a shiny or something.
I have those too. It's just very relaxing.
I'll come in and say,
you can watch.
"Hey, I followed you. Thank you very much. You guys are awesome. I'm gonna pass out to you. Don't do anything weird, please." And they're like, they look at you kind of weird, like, "Okay, yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Let me guide your dreams."
Right.
No, absolutely.
Tyler, I am surprised you didn't mention Persona 4.
Oh,
yeah. 2-minute breakdown Persona 4 this week. What's been happening?
And gentlemen, I want to state for the record that I've toiled after like episode 4 of talking about this. I don't remember what episode, but it was very early on. I had admitted that I didn't really play Japanese RPGs as much as I used to, and I loved them as a child, but I never played them as much nowadays, and I was starting to trash talk them. But that was unfair of me, and I decided to make the jump to grab a JRPG and play it. Now, the original adventure was actually Persona 5. Right. However, Persona 5, great as a game it is, and I will be playing it later. I played it quite a bit, but I found other games to catch my attention while I was at the house. However, I also had a PlayStation Vita that my best friend literally just gave me. Like, I shouldn't use literally. I feel dirty. I need soap from my mouth. He just gave it to me for free. And eventually I gave him some money for it. But then it sat like in a box for months, years. And then the priest of Vita came along and, told me the good word of the gospel. It's like, hey, you have Persona 4 Golden. You have a Vita. You should play it. I gave it a shot. It was fun. I also, since it's portable, I was able to play it during my lunch in my truck, since I was out in the middle of nowhere and I can't take my PS4 with me. Fun as it would be to hotspot my phone to my Vita and then do stream through the PS4. I tried that. It's a bad time.
I would imagine.
Don't play Destiny 2 on your Vita. It's not a great idea.
No, don't do it.
Oh, don't ever do it. But I finally was able, with enough lunch breaks and all that stuff, I've been able to finally beat Persona 4. 60 hours in, I believe, just a little bit under 60 hours. And I would like to review it, if possible. I'll keep it short. I'll keep it reasonable.
Yeah. Hit it.
So, where do I start? 60 hours in. I would like to say, for the record, the first 10 hours was interesting. And then the 30 hours, and this is a lot of 30 fucking hours. It turns into like, okay, it's going to be the same thing over. It's going to be the same story beats. It's going to start to get really grindy. And it started turning depressing because I liked the game, but at the same time, I was doing the same thing over and over and over again. And it was becoming really frustrating to the point that I told, Cam this, and Cam's like, oh, did you do this? I'm like, no. And he's like, oh, you just need to do another 10 hours of grinding and then it'll get good again. I'm like, what? And so, after 30 hours of grinding, I get to it past the midpoint, I guess you could say. Things actually start to pick up, and I had a moment where I was actually emotional. Like my cold, dead, beating heart flickered the light for a hot second to this 15-second anime cutscene that I saw, and then I was like, okay, I guess I'll keep playing this game. And played it, got the original Persona 4 ending done. And then I was, that's what I talked about in episode 20, I believe, saying that I, completed the normal ending. But then I agreed, and Cam agreed. We need to get the true ending so I can finally put this to rest, because this is not Persona 4. This is Persona 4 Golden. Yeah. We need to get the actual ending thanks to Golden. So what do? I beat it on the true ending. I get the cutscenes. I get so much. And you beat the damn game, and it's still at least an hour of stuff happening afterwards. It's like, just go see your parents, go home, give me the end, please. And he does that. I'm like, thank goodness. I get a little credits. And then he comes back. I'm like, oh boy, we're about to see, Chie, after 5 months, decided to grow her hair longer. And now she's she's studying to become a police officer. And it's like, great, fantastic, and all that stuff. Hey, kitty in the background. But now that it's done, super done, like
finally done, like actually done.
you want to make another new save file? You'll keep a lot of stuff. I'm like, no.
You're done. You're out.
I went to the masses. I went on Twitter. I started asking around, what is a game that I could buy for the exclusively, or if it's best fit for the PlayStation Vita that I could play, because Persona 4 Golden you can't play anywhere else. I think you might actually be able to play it on the PlayStation 4, but we won't bring that one up anymore because I know I saw
it's a dead game. You're done.
So
it's over now.
The game is dead. Is the console dead? So a lot, people came forward to me, and the biggest thing so far was Broken Age, which I can play on the PlayStation 4. So with heavy grievance, I ordered a 11x11 frame, and it's currently sitting outside my front door right now because neither me nor my wife have gone out to get it. But as soon as I pull that in after this podcast, I'm gonna hot glue this Vita to that thing and then nail that sucker to the wall where it will stay as a reminder of the good times I had.
Of the good times.
Yeah.
Of the good
I have a
times.
PS Vita as well, so I totally can relate to that nostalgia factor.
It's weird because I keep telling myself, oh, I can play this on this. Like, I can play Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. No, that was PSP. Oh. What about Valkyria Chronicles 2? PSP. Valkyria Chronicles 3. Can't even get it in the US. And it's like, what's the point? What is like, you can play Minecraft.
Yeah.
I can play Minecraft. You know, I can play Terraria, I believe, even, in which, that actually put me close. And I found out that the only game I could possibly think of that I'd want to get that's exclusive to the PlayStation Vita is called Danganronpa version 2.
Yeah. I've heard of
The
that
second. You can get it on the first one on Steam. You can get it on PS2, and I think maybe even the PSP. But the second one is only on Vita, as far as I'm aware. But I had realized that long ago, actually, that it was such a drag. Like, this is longer than a Phoenix Wright thing gone wrong, that I would just rather watch a Let's Play. I believe that I could be paraphrasing a little bit. I believe I said I'd rather drink bleach and watch a Let's Play than try to play that on the Vita.
That's a bit extreme.
Fair enough.
But accurate. So
Right.
The Vita is now dead in this podcast unless somebody were to come back to try to spark it back to life. So in fact, it's actually dying faster than the 3DS and the Wii U in this podcast. The Wii U and the 3DS is still being used more often than the Vita. Scary. But
I love my 3DS.
I just want to give a final respect for the PlayStation Vita. May it rest in peace, because as we all know, it's been discontinued not only in the US, Europe, and now Japan. It's gone for good.
Right.
Once
Will
Japan
not be
discontinues
missed.
it, it's gone forever.
Yeah.
It has been discontinued by Japan, right?
Yes, it has. Yep.
Yes. Right. Thanks for your 2-minute breakdown of Persona 4, Tyler. Really appreciate it.
Oh yeah, that's right. Persona 4. 6 out of 10.
No, we're moving 6 out of 10. All right.
It's not game of the year. That's for
Not
fucking
game of the
sure.
year. Okay. All right.
It did good in the end, but it like Skyward Sword. It did a rough start.
All right.
a
When you
terrible
did
middle,
your playthrough
great end.
of Skyward Sword, yeah, I
Okay.
feel that.
Anyways, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's okay.
No, you are
that's
the
fine,
moderator.
No,
You are the
Tyler,
host. You
Tyler,
decide
that's
how this
fine.
goes.
Okay, Tyler.
Nick, what have you been playing? You already talked about it.
We already
so I guess-
talked about
yeah,
that. We're going to
talking
move
about-
into the Destiny segment. The
Oh,
part.
Destiny. There's
So-
Destiny. We can talk about Destiny.
There we
So,
go.
so just a little background for everybody.
Destiny came out
I
for the
came into
PS3.
this. No, will you stop, Tyler? Let me do my job.
I'm sorry.
Once.
It was fate.
Right. So I came into this podcast. We started in May, right? I was pretty much the only person. I'm the FPS person of the group. I was the FPS person of the group. But thanks to I would like to thank me, and thanks to Activision and Sony's agreement, Destiny 2 was free for PlayStation Plus users.
Yes, in the
And-
month of September.
in the month of September, and Tyler picked it up, and because he played it and he enjoyed it for whatever reason, pre-Forsaken, decided to get Forsaken, and now it's a Destiny podcast.
There you
Yes. Nick gets 100% of the credit to keeping the interest in the podcast. However minute it was before the PlayStation Plus event, he kept it alive.
Yeah.
I might have actually had to talk to him, tell him to tone it down or find something new to talk about in Destiny,
because it was getting tiring. This was this was before even the Go Fast update, and before even the update that
5
came on
months,
the
Vicky.
28th.
5 months. What did you do? I shot a gun and I grinded up. I'm at the
When
cap
is the-
already.
When is the game that you love? There's not. And I think the whole Destiny community went through this as well, and which is why everybody was thankful for the Bungie Summit, which you mentioned, Vicky. So do you want to talk to us about the Bungie Summit really quick?
Yeah. I mean, basically, I was invited down to or across, because I'm pretty much right next to Seattle right now. So I was invited to Seattle with a bunch of other content creators to sit down with the community managers and the devs and the marketing team of Destiny 2 and kind of just talk about, you know, like what went wrong, what we didn't like about the game, what we felt like they did too much, what we felt like they didn't do enough. And just basically tell them, like, you know, when it comes down to it, we understand that you guys wanted to bring as many people into Destiny 2 as possible, those who love Destiny 1, those who never played Destiny 1, and make them both happy. But at the end of the day, you kind of just made it too easy. And you're and they're just like afraid that if they don't do that, that people will be like, oh well, this is too hard, so I don't want to play it anymore. But we basically said, like, you know what you guys have to do? You have to sometimes you have to say too bad. Like, you don't get that weapon if you don't put the hours in. You don't get that, you know, piece of armor or that set of armor if you don't put the hours in. Like, that's just how it is. For me. Ooh. You know, and it's like with WoW, you know, because I know a lot of people at Bungie really idolize WoW. It's like WoW was very much like that. It was like, if you don't put in the hours, then you're not going to get this achievement. That's just how the game works, you know. Right. Yeah. There's a grind, and if you respect the grind, then you get the rewards, and if you don't, then you don't. And like, I feel like at this point with Destiny, I have seen a couple of people still say the grind is too hard and there's too much to do. And I do see that Bungie has caved in a little bit. I know they changed the Ace of Spades quest to be a little easier, and everyone was like, "All right, don't get crazy now. Like, you know, don't go changing things and making things easier just because a couple of people whined about it."
To be fair, though, the people that probably are saying that are like the grizzled veterans that spend hours of the day trying to get that, and then finally got it, and then they nerfed the quest. And
I know, right? They're like, I can't. I mean, I was not bothered by it because I don't easily. My feathers don't get very easily rustled when it comes to like that kind of stuff. I know people see like one little nerf or change, and they go like ballistic on like Reddit and the forums and stuff like that. I've never been on the Destiny subreddit. I don't ever want to go on the Destiny subreddit.
Stay off the Destiny
I have never been there. People always say it's a horrible place.
It must be a family of mucks. All that toxicity.
I don't know why I keep going back. It's like it's a disease. You want to stay away from that subreddit. Yeah. But Forsaken was a result of the Bungie Summit, and what I really like. I would like to hope that it was part of the Bungie Summit, but also because they hired two game designers from the community short term. So I believe it was Holtzman and Mercules. Not game designers specifically, but like game specialists, game advisors.
Advisors. Content and be like, this is what I like, this is what I don't like.
Yeah, so Mercules is infamous on the Destiny Crucible subreddit for posting time to kill breakdowns on what weapons are good, weapon recommendations. You know, if you really want to try and get competitive, or as I like to say, and as I've tried to get you into it, sweaty. If you want to get sweaty in the Crucible, and so I was really excited when they picked him up for the 3 months to help them work on you know, how to reshape Crucible and the other aspects of the game in relation to the weapons to make sure that it's fun for everybody. I'm just really happy. It should have happened a lot sooner. The summit, I really feel like it should have happened, you know, sometime around end of year 2 of D1, because year 3 was just a cesspool of unbalanced ability spam and unchecked weapons. And so I don't mean this in sort of any offense, but you're not, at the moment at least, not like a hardcore Destiny player yet, Vicky, because you're a variety streamer, and so I try. And so you have the hardcore. She wants
to have meaning in life. Playing nothing but that game will kill you.
playing nothing but any game will kill you, and that's the funny part, is that a lot of people, I don't know what changed, what year it changed, what age range it changed in. But, and maybe it's just because I stream and I see it more so, but I just see people always say like, oh, you're playing this game, so that means you don't play this game anymore. And it's like, no, that's not what that means. That means that I play both games. Right. For some reason, like, I feel like a lot of people can't grasp the concept of playing multiple games at a time. And it's so foreign to me, because when I was younger, I would always play like, I'd rotate a couple games. Like I'd play a little Pokemon, and then I'd turn on my PlayStation and play a little bit of Kingdom Hearts or whatever the case may be. But now it's like if you don't see someone playing a game they usually play, in their mind it's like they have quit. They have cold turkey, just like throw the game out the window. They're never going to play it again. Yeah. And it's so weird. I don't know what that started with, but I hear it all the time.
I like to think it's because of games being very much like service games. So games like Destiny that are meant to be played for like the long term, that have like a long term vision. And so like, well, if there's so much to do. So if you're not, well, there was so much to do, or there is now so much to do. But if you're not playing this, why are you bothered playing other games, kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
But it's good to see where the game's at a place now where we've got specifically a more casual gamer like Tyler for Destiny because of his time constraints, and then we've got you, Vicky, who's put a little bit more time into it. But there's still, Tyler's only at 565, but he still climbed that pretty quick, right? Whereas you're closer to 590, and it's good to see that everybody's being rewarded now.
It wasn't until week 3 until I understood what the concept of weeklies and dailies were. I was just
that's true.
The Dreaming City saying if I shoot enough stuff, things will drop, right?
Yeah.
And then I had my eyes open that pretty much anything with the golden circle next to it was mostly good.
Right.
And then it took me another week and a half to understand the concept of different tiered of weekly rewards. Like, for example, like doing heroic events and all that stuff over on Nessus might not give me the best weekly reward versus doing the Ascendant challenge or doing the Blind Well challenge. There's apparently a big difference. I was did not realize that.
There's +1, +5, and +10, I believe. And that becomes lower the higher you go, or anything that was previously a +5 now becomes a +1 the higher you go. So for like the Nightfall, if you were previously under leveled, it would have started off as a +10 reward, and then a +5, and then a +1 the closer you got to the actual level difficulty level of the event.
So will there be a point then that it would not be worthwhile for me at a certain light level to do say that weekly Nessus do heroic activities over there? That's probably a +1 for me right now. Will it eventually, because there's been a lot of times where I'll do that and it's like it'll give me something that's actually 1 below or equal, and it's like, oh, okay, I just got RNG'd hard.
Pretty bad, yeah. It might not be worthwhile in terms of power level gain, but in terms of the chance of getting exotics or a good roll on a weapon or a piece of armor.
Where's Zer this weekend?
Lord if I know. There's a website, and this is my favorite website.
Oh, I figured you guys would know.
Where the fuck is Zer.com?
Wait, is that actually a website?
Is actually a website, Tyler.
Where the fuck is Zer.com?
Zer is on motherfucking
That's
Titan.
dedication, not even .net or .fun zone or something.
All right, that's our Destiny talk for the moment. And we're gonna move on to because we have a professional streamer in comparison to us. On the
us flunkies, us goons over here. We bang our heads and we record ourselves while doing.
I wanted to talk about streaming and the world of streaming just a little bit, not like a super deep dive.
Yeah.
Deep dive, Tyler.
No, this is not a deep dive because we're not going to cover everything, and not even the deepest into a subject. That doesn't count. Okay. I'm sorry, it's a bad running joke.
It's a very bad long running joke. But Vicky, tell us just very briefly how you got started into streaming.
So I was working in IT full time, and I was dating someone who was making YouTube videos casually. And he was like, hey, why don't you start doing YouTube as well? Like, you could make a couple videos, 2 or 3 a week, and just stream Let's Plays. Because I used to, at the time, I was watching a lot of Game Grumps. I was watching a lot of JonTron. I was watching a lot of Game Theory. Just like a lot of like video game news / playthroughs and stuff like that.
Sorry, what time period was this around?
This was like 2015, I want to say. 2014, 2015, like somewhere around there. Okay. So he was like, why don't you just start doing YouTube? And I was like, I don't have time. I was working from like 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And then sometimes I would have to work after hours if we had like a client whose stuff was just broken or whatever the case may be. So I was like, I just don't have time to like start learning how to edit videos and all that jazz. So he's like, all right, well, fine. If you don't want to do YouTube, then why don't you just try doing Twitch? And I was like, I don't know what that is. And he was like, well, it's basically a website where you go there and you're watching people play video games live. It's not recorded. You don't have to do anything. You literally just have to hit.
You don't have to do anything. Oh,
yeah,
man.
Just hit start streaming and you're streaming.
That's the recorder or the recruiter's like basic statement. It's easy. Just push a button.
Easy. Yeah. So I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. And basically, I would come home from work. I didn't invest a ton of money. I always recommend, people are always like, what should I do? Should I get like a 1080 Ti and all this crazy stuff? And I was like, no, because if you hate it, then like you just threw all this money for no reason.
It's great. You still have a nice ass computer though.
Well, that's true. That's true. But I didn't try for my PlayStation. I bought a PlayStation camera for $60. And that's all the money that I invested. Right. I used to like have this stack of shoe boxes that would hold the camera up so that it wasn't like in a weird position. I took the shade off my lamp and that was my light.
I totally understand that too.
I sat in the middle of my living room, much to my family's chagrin, and just streamed after work for like 2 hours a week. Not even like 2 hours a day, like 2 hours a week. Because I knew nothing about the streaming life. I didn't know that you had to like stream a lot. I didn't know that there was such a thing as partnership, which now it's such like a naive time to go into streaming, because now if you go into streaming, you know all about that. Like Ninja's all over the news. He's on Ellen DeGeneres. So it's like you see all that and you're like, okay, well, I can make a ton of money off this, which is a lie, by the way. Don't go into streaming thinking that you can make a lot of money, people who are listening to this.
So, fun fact, the first time I heard about Ninja was not actually through Twitch. It was, in fact, because I was fueling at a gas station pump and they had an advertising. And
was he on one of the little things?
On a gas station TV advertising. I don't even know what the for. I was like, who the hell's Ninja? And then I looked it up.
No, the reach and the different kinds of markets and like the different kind of areas he's penetrated has been amazing. But we're not here to talk about Ninja.
Oh, we're not.
Oh yeah, leave Tyler out of this. Focus on the real Tyler here. Tyler 2, not Tyler 1.
Not Tyler 1.
Yeah.
He's not another
guy. But yeah, and I started streaming and I met the Destiny community. I met Broman, I met Team KK, I met Goth, and they just like took me under their wing, and they kind of like was the Jedi Master. I was the apprentice. Padawan. And they told me like, this is what you should do, the Padawan. Yes.
Yeah. Be apprentice. Don't nitpick her. You have not spoken a day of your life to me about Star Wars, Nick. Don't suddenly act like
Star Wars knowledge.
That's all I know about Star Wars.
The correct thing. But yeah, then just took off from there, and I've been streaming ever since. So it'll be 4 years in March that I'll be streaming.
That's pretty cool. And did you start off streaming Destiny, or were you a variety streamer from the get-go?
Yeah, so I was like, I didn't know that you should stream a game and like build a community around it before you jump right into variety. So I was streaming a lot of Destiny, but I was also streaming random stuff. I was streaming like Shovel Knight and like Smash Brothers and a little bit of Minecraft actually. And I just kind of like would stream whatever I felt like that day. I was like, all right, we'll play a little bit of this. This sounds fun. And again, I had no idea like how to get viewers. I had no idea that, people rated or hosted each other. I had no idea.
Buy them.
I just went into it totally blind. My first big raid was from Goth while I was doing Crota. And I remember like there was just like 1,000 people in my chat, and I was used to like 5 people in my chat, and I was like, what do I do? I don't know how to handle it. It was very overwhelming.
Is it like essentially virtual stage fright at that point?
Because I'm very shy in real life, so when I see like that there's so many people that now rely on me for entertainment, I'm just like, oh, okay, we can do this.
Heck, I got weirdly thrown off when I had a friend's like, hey Ty, I'm like, oh hi, David, and he's like, by the way, I have 4 other people watching you with me. I'm like, and he named them all. I'm like, oh, why hello.
Oh, hello. No, I know, because people always like get down about their viewership, but I'm like, imagine 25 people sitting in the room with you right now. Like that'd be a lot of people like watching you do your thing.
The moment I get over 50 people watching me, I'm gonna immediately revert to my Sean Connery impersonation and sound like this. This diamond looks fantastic to mine today.
So before you started streaming, what did you want to do? What did you want to be? Did you have any like serious ambitions, or you just kind of like, oh, let's see what happens?
I got into IT because I was just a big fan of technology since I was really, really young. But what I always really wanted to do, like I grew up watching G4, and I grew up watching like all their coverage of like E3 and PAX, and I was like, what a cool job that would be to like be able to go to all these conventions, interview all these people, meet all these cool like people in the gaming industry, learn about what games they're coming out with. And that was always something that I really wanted to do. Still something that I want to do to this day. Because I feel like, you know, if you look at people like Firefox, like, oh my God, it's Firefox. Like, she was a streamer on Twitch and she's kind of branched out into like doing YouTube and doing hosting gigs and doing all this other stuff. And I feel like that's so important because like for the average person, not the ninjas and not the people who are making like a crap ton of money,
the pirates.
You do need to have a plan B out there. You do need to expand your portfolio and use the connections that you make from streaming to maybe, you know, find a job in the future if you decide that streaming's not for you anymore.
So
right, because all it takes is one trend or one game, and then you could basically.
And then that's it.
Yeah.
So my idea of putting business cards in every rest area I drive through as a truck driver is probably not the best idea.
Oh my God. People always, every convention whenever a convention's coming out, people always have the business card argument on Twitter. They're always like, don't bring business cards, do bring business cards. At the end of the day, if you're listening to this and you have business cards for your stream, hand them to a person that you already had a conversation with. And you're like, oh, well, if you want to like follow up on this conversation, here's my business card.
Ooh.
You know, don't start with the business card, and also don't just leave your business card random places around the convention center hoping that people will find them.
Right.
Oh darn, my plan's been foiled. Sorry, Wolverine City rest area in northbound Michigan.
Right.
I-75. Hopefully the truck driver that's, you know, popping a squat over there is like, oh, this guy might be interesting. I'll watch him on my phone.
Right now.
I think you brought up a very important like networking topic. I think streamer networking, people look at it, or streamers look at it as a way, as corporations do. We're like, all right, we both make products, let's do business. And which is, I think, the not the correct way to go about it, because these are people these are solo business owners in a sense, and but they're still very much people like they're trying to make connections.
They're real people.
So like the you know, and this sounds like a tactic, but you just want to try and make friends with people rather than try and make deals, or like necessarily like, hey, you know, I've seen your stream, we've never met, but let's collaborate. And
and if it happens, it happens. It's like, I love mingling.
It's gotta be organic. It has to be. I tell people that all the time because I feel like people who are getting into streaming now want that like instant satisfaction.
Right.
Give me affiliate, then I get partnered, then I make a bunch of money and I quit my job, which is not how it happens at all. And like, I can't emphasize that enough.
Yeah, there's a couple of stats missing there, like winning the lottery or something.
You know, like crying on the floor for like 3 hours.
Small loan of $1 million from your dad.
Oh man, I don't even need the stream to hit that step, Vicky. Jeez.
I know. Well, like I got rejected for partnership from Twitch like 5 times, and which was the average like back when everyone was applying for partnership. Like me and like Jesse and Chariona, like we all got partnered around the same time, and like we got rejected a bunch of times before we got accepted. So like you have to learn that it's a lot of rejection before it's anything positive.
Right. And so
you're so awesome.
I can't sugarcoat people because I didn't have like a big like a Qui-Gon Jinn. I don't know why I'm coming up with all these Star Wars references. Like tell me like this is gonna happen. You're gonna like
Han Solo, Obi-Wan
Kenobi. Yeah, that's I guess that's more appropriate. But like I didn't have that being like you're gonna like think that you're worthless because no one wants to watch you, or you're gonna like think that you suck because people would rather watch so and so. Like it happens, you know.
I guess in hindsight, he would be the Obi-Wan to your Anakin because you turned to the dark side. You didn't stay with Twitch for too long, did you?
I did not. Well, I stayed with Twitch for 3 years. So like that's pretty long.
To the dark side.
3 years, that's a long time in comparison to there's nothing to compare it to. I don't know where I was going.
I mean, Twitch has only been around for 6 years.
Yeah.
So,
and so you used to be on Twitch. You got partnered on Twitch. Where are you now? It's a little bit of a unique situation.
Yes. So I'm not going to go into super longevity of it, but basically I got offered to switch to Facebook gaming, and they pretty much said like, hey, we're starting this gaming platform. It was in June, this past June that it happened. Facebook gaming started in February of this year, and they said, hey, we would love for you to start on our platform. We're starting this program. We think we could do great things with it. Would you like to start? And I was like, and anyone could tell you, I said, I only told like a handful of people that I got that call. And I said to them, there's no way I will switch over to Facebook. Like, that's impossible. It'll never happen. And then I really thought about it. And I was like, where am I going on Twitch? Am I ever going to be like a Dan's Gaming, a Summit, a Lyric? Am I ever going to be that? Probably not. Unless like some crazy stroke of luck. You could dream. But in reality, like if I was 21 years old and I was streaming for fun and I was making decent money and I'd be like, okay, yeah, I'll stay on Twitch and see what happens. But I'm getting older and I really needed to start thinking about like my financial future and where it was going. And to me, I was like, if I can get on the ground floor of something and it does blow up in a good way, then I will be like the lyric in the summit of Facebook gaming, because I will have been one of the first people to be on the platform.
You'd be the pioneer of that, yes.
Yeah. So to me, like, and a lot of people don't understand that when they see me saying that I'm switching over. They only see like greed and like being a sellout or so on and so forth. I got a lot of that flack from people, both partners and just regular people, like regular viewers. But really, if you were faced with that and you were like, okay, this could help you financially, it could help your future, you're never going to be what you want to be on Twitch, so you might as well, you're going to either settle for what you have or you're going to try and risk it for something unknown.
And you risked it for the biscuit, and it sounds like it was pretty successsul for you.
Yeah, I mean, things have been going pretty well. I mean, so in almost 4 years on Twitch, I had 83,000 followers. And now on Facebook in June, July, like 5 months, I have almost 40,000. So I've almost hit the halfway mark 5 months in, which is really great.
One hell of a recovery.
Yeah. And there's a lot of work that Facebook needs to do, and we are constantly talking. I'm on calls with my partner manager every week saying, this is what I don't like, this is what needs to change, because they still need to get into that streamer mentality. Because one thing that Twitch has over everyone else is the culture of streaming that people understand. They understand subbing and tips and bits and all that stuff. And on Facebook, it's very new to a lot of people. They don't understand like the concept of a streamer and why they would make money. Why would I give this person money? So it's been a little bit of a bumpy ride, but I kind of expected that. I didn't really think that I was going to dive into this 6-month-old platform and everything was going to be peaches. Right. One thing that's really exciting is that they're coming out with a designated Facebook app for gaming.
Wow. Okay, cool.
Yeah, that was just like TechCrunch did an article about it, I think today or yesterday.
I was going to say, I did not hear anything about this yet, so this must have been nearly breaking, unless I'm just completely under the rock here.
No, it's very, very new. They just talked to us about it today, but breaking it's very, news, very everybody. Early. Yeah, breaking news article on the podcast.
Exclusive on this show only.
Deep Insider Victoria gives us the details. Vicky, please.
No, but it's going to be a designated Facebook gaming app just for gaming, which I think is going to be huge, because a lot of people, and I've said this to their face, a lot of people on Twitch, they see Facebook as like a joke, essentially. It's like a meme. It's like, oh yeah, Facebook, what am I, 65? So, you know, you have a designated gaming app that's not attached to, like, you don't have to see anything Facebook at all. You just see the gaming portion of it. I think that would be tremendous.
Like the Messenger app.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like you don't want to see that your ex-boyfriend is engaged and having a baby. Like all you're gonna see is like.
I mean, I sometimes do. I don't know. You know, it's random Tuesday. It's like, oh man, I want to see the miseries of others. Oh,
yeah, exactly. But yeah, so with the switch over to Facebook came a little bit of bumps and bruises. A lot of people just at the end of the day, like, didn't want their full names out there. They didn't want people to know where they worked and, you know, what they did, which will, again, with the gaming app will be gigantic, because I don't think they'll have access to people's like profiles. Like on Facebook, you can literally, like, if you're in the chat room, I could click on your profile and like see your real Facebook profile.
And then you can find their mother and say, your son was a very naughty boy in my chat, saying very
exactly. So people, you know, they were like, well, I really love you in your streams, but I either deleted my Facebook, I don't go on there anymore, or I just don't like it. Right. So then I started streaming on Mixer also. And I'm still trying to figure out like how to schedule my time with Facebook and Mixer and make it fair to both parties. But Mixer was pretty much a way for me to still harvest that community that I had made on Twitch, and for people to feel more comfortable, because they can have their usernames on there. They have emotes. They can, you know, kind of chill like how they did on Twitch, and it's virtually exactly the same.
Right.
So that's why I've been streaming on Mixer. And Mixer people are very, very nice. Like everyone on the staff is very, very kind. They're very helpful. And just like the site in general seems to be a little more friendlier than Twitch.
Right. Because they're like younger. They haven't been scorned by life
yet.
They
haven't gone through. I mean, the thing about Twitch is, like, I feel like, I always say, and I've said this before when I was a partner, and I will say this now, that, like, Twitch, I think, has installed this prima donna attitude in a lot of their streamers. And it has become like this high schooly who's
I'm a top
cool
Twitch
enough.
streamer.
Yeah, like I'm a partner, but I'm like a partner. You're just like a small partner. I'm like a big dog. So it's just nonsense, really. And I see it all the time at all the conventions, and people think they're holier than thou. And it's like, that could all disappear for you tomorrow. You have to understand.
So I'm curious about the whole you streaming on both Facebook and Mixer. So I know with Twitch, partners are bound by a 24-hour exclusivity rule if they want to put content out on YouTube, but they cannot stream on other platforms. So how does that work between Facebook and Mixer in terms of their contracts for their partners?
So the only thing is that you can't stream at the same time. Like, so you can't restream your stream to Facebook, or you can't restream your Facebook stream to Mixer. But other than that, you could literally, like, I could get off Facebook and then stream on Mixer.
So they're okay. So Facebook's like, oh, you want to stream on Mixer, dude? That's you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
you can't share the exact same content that got encoded into the stream, but
and so I think you're using that to your advantage as well, Vicky, where you're like, all right, Facebook is for this, and then Mixer is going to be for these kinds of games. Right?
Yeah, I'm trying not to stream Fortnite on Mixer because I'm trying to give it more of like a variety vibe, which is a lot harder on a platform that's newer because it doesn't have those established directories yet. Like right now, if I wanted to stream a random game on Twitch, I could still probably get a decent amount of viewers because there's a solidified directory for it. Yesterday with The World Ends With You, I was literally the only person on the whole platform streaming that game.
Right. Top of the directory, I remember.
Yeah, top of the directory. Woo! So, I mean, it has good things and bad things because obviously if people are looking for that, you're the only person that's doing it, which would never be possible on Twitch. Ever, ever, ever. Right. So that's like a huge thing. But I think that Mixer and Facebook are good competition, and competition's healthy, you know, because otherwise people get lazy and they feel like they don't have to try as much. And, you know, at the end of the day, whether you're on streamer on Twitch, Mixer, or Facebook, or wherever, you're still like doing what you want to do. So don't make people make you feel bad because you're not streaming on one or the other.
Right.
You mentioned YouTube. That's heartbreaking. Wow.
I know. You know what it is? Like when YouTube Gaming came out, everyone was like, "Oh man, YouTube Gaming's totally gonna push Twitch into the dirt." And
it's
then
gonna be the Twitch killer.
Yep, everyone said it was gonna be the Twitch killer, and then I never saw it again. I saw it. They had a huge presence at E3 in like 2015. And then I never saw them have a booth ever again after that.
Nice.
So I learned maybe last week that one of my classmates in my web design course right now actually did an internship with Facebook. And he was actually part of one of the teams that worked on the Facebook gaming platform. And that was earlier, I think, either this summer or sometime last fall. So between September and December last year. And so they were talking about what I started mentioning. So the biggest name, at least in the Destiny community, of a Twitch streamer moving to Facebook is Tim, Darkness429.
Right.
And so when I mentioned like, oh yeah, dude, like I'm aware of all the streaming world. I'm like, yeah, I'm the streaming world. I know this community, and I said like, I know that Tim went from Twitch to Facebook. He's like, yeah, we worked on some stuff for him and stuff. You know, so we did a lot of the background technical work, some of the graphical design stuff. And so I'm just wondering what, in comparison to Twitch. And it might just be because they're smaller platforms right now. But how's the creator support? I know that a big part, like as they get bigger, as they grow, they have the capital to back up their growing user base. Yeah. Twitch doesn't.
Right. I mean, I think right now it's a very personal touch. Like it's very individual, like attention. Like it's like, oh, this person's having a problem with their account. Let's get our engineers on it to fix it like right now. Where on Twitch that's obviously not going to happen because there's so many partners and there's so many people that you have to attest to. When I started on Facebook, I was a little bit of a raging bull in a china shop, and I don't think they expected that because I came in and I was like, okay, this needs to change, that can't be like that. Yeah, they're like, I was like, this needs to get fixed, this is a priority, that's not a priority, you need to put like all your people on this. And like at first they were like, what the hell is this girl that you like brought onto this program who just like won't stop yapping about things that need to change.
Mouth scar over the eye. It's like it's my time now. It's like,
and then like when I went to PAX, I got to meet a lot of them in person, and I sat down and talked to a lot of them, and I was like, look, I'm not trying to be a butt. I'm just saying that like if you guys want to be successful, like you're not the big fish in this pond like Twitch is. And I know Facebook might be used to being a big fish because they have a ton of money and they're a huge platform, but when it comes to streaming, like they're a tiny fish.
And you were bringing the experience like a lot of the other people they bought over too. And I guess maybe they're just not used to the other partners they bought over being as aggressive.
They weren't as vocal.
Or, as blunt or straight to the point.
Yeah, no, when I would say something, when I would be like, yeah, so I think this should change, people would be like, oh my God, I felt the same way. I'm like, why don't you say it? Because I look like a crazy person just like rambling on like every day. But yeah, everyone on Facebook, like, it's funny how like quick we all kind of like became friends and like all play games together all the time, because at the end of the day it's kind of like being new kids in a school all together and being like, all right, well, we're all new here, so yeah, we kind of stick together. And a lot of people started on Facebook who I became friends with. A lot of people moved over from Twitch and got the same kind of treatment I did, although like Tim did get the worst treatment from Twitch out of all of us, I think.
Yep.
Because like his account, he announced he was going to Facebook, and then his account got banned accidentally.
Right.
Within like 12 hours of him announcing that he was switching over. So I didn't get banned from Twitch, luckily. But you can definitely tell that there is a little bit of a stigma when people switch over.
Do you technically still have partner status?
No, my partner status went away, I think last month or the end of July.
It was a few months ago. It was recent. I think it was in July or August.
Yeah, because they were like, you have 30 days to change your mind. And I was like, I'm not changing my mind. So they were like, okay. But, I hope, Twitch, I still have a lot of friends on Twitch, both streamers and in staff. And the only thing that I hope for them is that they realize that restricting their creators is not viable in this day and age. Yeah, like maybe it was like 5 years ago when people didn't really know any better and didn't really know about streaming.
They would ban people from recording podcasts.
Yeah, like now everyone knows about Twitch and everyone knows about streaming. And I think the more they restrict their partners, like the more they're going to get pushback.
Yeah, like for example, if Steam actually comes through with their streaming platform and all of a sudden they decide, all right, you can no longer stream Dota anywhere else.
Oh my God, that'd be crazy.
Then Twitch is going to take a huge hit, right? So they have to. It's like with Sony and cross-platform support. Anything that benefits the consumer in the long run, it'll benefit them in the long run too.
Right.
Anyways, I did have one more question about streaming, and this is going a little bit back. I'm very curious to know what that moment was for you when you knew that, all right, there's some potential here for like for me to make a earning off this for the next little while.
It wasn't for a while, I would say. Like I got partnered in October of 2015, and I just kind of was making like pennies like a month. And even after I got my sub button, because the thing is, when you get your sub button, everyone's so excited and they all sub and your sub count goes whoosh. And then the next month it's like, pink, and you have to kind of build from there. And side note, I tell people all the time, especially with like sub gifting and mass sub gifting now. And I was like, don't count your chickens before they hatch. Save your money. If you get like one massive paycheck from Twitch because you got like a ton of sub gifts or whatever the case may be, like put that to the side, make a nest egg out of it, because the next month it's gonna crash inevitably. So, but when I started making almost what I was making at my current job, I kind of was like, all right, I'm gonna pay off all my bills with all the money that I saved, and I'm just gonna quit. And if it doesn't work out, then I hope that I can find another job. I don't recommend doing it that way, by the way. I recommend like really having like a solid nest egg, and maybe like working both jobs if you can in the midst. I kind of just was like, I came back from E3 where I had a couple conversations with people about what I should do, and they all told me that I should just go for it. And so I just was like, okay.
They would, though.
Yeah, I know, right? And I was like, okay, I'm going to go for it.
There'd be success stories of where that didn't go wrong, so it'd be natural that they tell you to go for it.
I don't even know how many followers I had when I quit. I know it was not a lot at all. But I told my boss, I was like, I'm going to start streaming and see what happens. And she was like, okay. She's like,
is that what she said? Okay. Because I would pay for the 10-second clip of her reaction after you told her.
No, she was super. I mean, they kind of knew what I had been doing up until that point. Like I had been streaming for like, I think like 4 or 5 months up until that point. And I would kind of share with them. I'm like, oh, I got, 10 viewers there, or I had 100 followers or something like that. And they would kind of like, was very supportive. My parents, on the other hand, were not very excited that I was quitting my full-time job to play video games on the internet. And still like
Shocking.
almost 4 years later have a hard time like grasping what I do and grasping telling people like, oh, what does your daughter do, and has a hard time explaining.
She's an entertainer.
Yeah, and then people's next question is always like, so is she
a comedian?
No, they always think I'm not clothed.
Oh,
because they're like, when she says, oh yeah, she live streams on the internet.
Oh my.
People always yeah, so she has to always be like, no, she's not that kind of live streamer. But people might say that. But yeah, no, I mean, it's good. Honestly, it's funny, when I moved to Facebook, my parents were so excited. They were, because I think Facebook was something that they understood. They're like, Facebook, I know that word. I can attach like, something to this now. And they were both like stoked, because they were like, now I can just tell my friends that my daughter works for Facebook. So that sounds a lot better than like, my daughter streams to strangers on the internet.
Theoretically, they're not wrong.
Yeah, they're not wrong.
I mean, you're
independent contractor.
Yeah. Okay, sure. Yes. That would be nice.
Right.
Yeah.
Tyler, do you have any questions?
I do, but they're not of the streaming kind, but they are video game focused, if you want me to just a quick farm.
Yeah.
Vicky, what is your favorite game of all time besides Destiny, if that's the answer?
No, it'd be tough, but I have to say Golden Sun probably.
Really? Okay. Yeah. Are we talking about the first one for the Game Boy Advance, or are we
the first one?
Okay.
Yeah. That was the first game that I like put a lot of time into, I beat it, and it was so satisfying when I beat it that I was just like, I wanted to play it again. And like usually with JRPGs, when you put so much time into it, you're like, all right, well, I beat it, and now that quest is over.
It drove me crazy though. Golden Sun leaves you on such almost a cliffhanger note there that it's like, gotta play Golden Sun.
You gotta play the second one, which was also good. It wasn't until it made it to like the 3DS that you were just kind of like, all right.
Yeah. Yep.
And I did hear that Nintendo filed a trademark for Golden Sun. Yes. So I don't know if that's just them refreshing the trademark, or I don't know if that's them saying we want to make another one, or we want to bring it to the Switch. I would cry if it came to the Switch. I really would.
Interesting, because most people, like, the latest one so far has been Animal Crossing. I've been seeing the tear streaks. They're like, oh, Animal Crossing has finally came to Switch. It's like, no shit, Sherlock.
I know, it was going to eventually
happen. I'm not sure if you guys know this. A new trademark came up by Nintendo this week about a phone case that can play Game Boy games.
Oh, really? I didn't hear about that.
A trademark for this. Now, like, the design suggested maybe something like a phone case that folds around like a book. So maybe it's like an Android emulator that's sanctioned by Nintendo for an actual Game Boy. And then the buttons you could press that would touch the screens through the actual buttons, and you'd play it like that.
Oh, that'd be smart.
An interesting phone case.
Yeah, I was thinking it'd be super bulky, where you just plug it in and then you just turn around and you have like a Game Boy.
You hold it backwards.
I mean, I do see those game cases advertised on Instagram all the time, where you can turn it over and play Tetris and do all that stuff. I'm
trying to remember what there was let me start that sentence over. I don't know, but there was a specific brand that was like Hyper something, where you could just slide your phone in and then it turned it into what appeared to be a legitimate Game Boy Color, but it was powered by your phone.
Yeah.
Like Hyperdrift or something like that. But let's see. Favorite color?
I would say like really dark red.
Really dark red. Oh, okay.
Yeah, like a scarlet almost.
Who do you main on Super Smash Bros?
I was playing a lot of Shulk. I like playing Ike, but he's a really heavy character to play, so
he's slow as hell, but he's
his recovery is really bad, but he hits really hard. Or I'll play like what's the one? It's like the character that has like the book and can have like different attacks from Fire Emblem.
Okay, you're talking about oh man, what is her name? No, I called it.
It's like it can be a boy or a girl.
Yes,
the boy or the girl.
I don't remember what they actually called it. I called it Taylor because I made a female version, but I wanted it to be me. So instead of Tyler, I called it Taylor. So. That's all.
And then I'll go back to like classic like Kirby or Pikachu or something like that once in a while.
Okay. My final question is: do you believe Waluigi should be in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate?
Yes, and I feel like Nintendo might be trolling us and just
stop the press. She's a keeper.
Just eventually put him in there. Just be like, haha, JK, he's here. By the way,
I'm gonna say
that might happen.
They have him as a support trophy, so he has appeared in the game, but it's just. I don't even know what he'd do, honestly, at this point. All I need to hear him is go, and that's I'd be happy.
Yeah, I know. Poor Waluigi, man. He doesn't really get much FaceTime. Have you ever played the Wario games on the DS?
Let's see, WarioWare Touched, I believe.
Those were my favorite games. I loved those games.
Let's see,
I don't know why. I'm just
my
obsessed with
favorite.
them.
I was a bigger fan of WarioWare Smooth Moves for the Wii, but that's because I love the nonchalant way they handled the Wiimote and all that. But okay, I'm done. I'll bugger with questions after the show.
All right, we're gonna. That's really, it's pretty insightful. Streaming is a thing. It's a thing that people do, and it's a thing that I think we all have questions about. And so we're gonna move on to our game releases section. Coming up, starting the 15th of October, this Monday, the day you're going to be listening to this.
Today,
right now. Actually, right now.
It's Sunday. If you think it's Monday, you're wrong. It's actually Sunday.
It is out on PS4 and Switch. It is Raised. It is a 3D platformer thing, like techno, multicolor, funky, on PC as well. So PS4, Switch. Then we've got Lego DC Supervillains. This is on the 16th of October. Lego DC Supervillains coming out on PS4, Xbox One, PC, and Switch. I've never played a Lego game.
Really?
It was so fun.
No, never. I'm like the worst with playing games. Tyler, you should know this by now. Like, I've played the minimal amount of games in my life.
Oh,
you can play them on your iPad.
Can you really?
I've played the Hobbit one on my iPad. It was really good.
Oh man, I think for me it was always Star Wars and then Harry Potter.
Yeah, those are the classics for sure.
Oh man, I'm trying to think of what other. Those were the big ones, but the DC. Actually, I played just a tiny bit with the wife. Wife really liked the Marvel one though, not DC.
Okay, yeah, because Marvel's obviously the superior thing. Yeah. Then we've got Starlink Battle for Atlas coming out for PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. So,
finally, the best Star Fox content we're gonna get this side of the millennium.
So I could be thankfully you said Star Fox. So this was the one at E3 where they bought out Shigeru Miyamoto.
Yes.
Is this the one? Yeah. Okay. And then they presented
please understand, there might be a Star Fox. It might be good. Please buy it.
Then we've got Warriors Orochi 4 coming out for PS4, Xbox One, Switch. I have no idea what this is.
Me neither. Vicky, you are the resident expert about Warriors Orochi 4.
Of course. I actually made that game. I have no idea what that game is.
Well, thank you.
All right, and then we've got 2 Dark Souls releases. We've got Dark Souls Remastered coming out on the Switch on 19th of October. And then we've got the Dark Souls Trilogy, just a compilation game coming out on the 19th of October as well for PS4 and Xbox One.
Okay, so let me get this straight. The remastered version of the original Dark Souls is coming out on the Switch, and then the same exact day, they're going to have all the Dark Souls, or the first 3 at least, put together for one for the PS4 and Xbox.
Yep.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we've got Soul Calibur 6 coming out on the 19th as well. PS4, Xbox One, PC. Never played a Soul Calibur game either.
Really?
I'm actually the worst. Like I told you, I'm actually the worst.
One Soul Calibur game, but not seriously.
I played Soul Calibur 2 for the GameCube because it had Link in it. And then Soul Calibur 5 and made my own characters. And I thought it was cool because my character's weapon was a broom. And I love the idea of sweeping up the competition and not coming off the edge.
There you go.
Most satisfying thing, shooting a broom between somebody's legs, wonking him in the nads, and then launch him over his shoulder off into the river for a knockout. Ring out.
Yeah, that sounds pretty amazing, actually.
Oh, yeah.
And so now this is a new section we introduced last episode, and we're going to keep it for forthcoming episodes.
It's shorter this time, too. Thank God.
Because there was not as many, there's really not that many that interest me. A lot of them were European releases as compared to like American releases, so like just different dates. I didn't really bother with a lot of them. What's up?
Because I specifically requested that only good or interesting games be put on this list. But I'm looking at number 1 here.
Yes.
I heard good things about this game, although I've never played it.
This game, Tyler, let me ask you: Are you a fan? Are you a fan of Jack Black?
I thought you were gonna say, "Are you a fan of good games?" And I'd be like, "Yes."
Are you a fan of Jack Black?
I do like Backpack. Yes.
Yeah.
I can say it. Backpack.
School of Rock is the movie I could watch over and over again because that.
What about Pick of Destiny though?
Pick of Destiny, sure.
I mean, I don't like Jack Black.
School of Rock was just so uplifting. Anytime any kid was like, "Can I do this?" He's like, "Yeah, go for it." Another kid came up, "Can I do this?" "Yeah, go for it." Right? And there was a little kid. She was a little chubby, and she's like, "Oh, I don't want to sing because I'm afraid I'll look bad on stage." He's like, "Look at me, I'm chubby, but I do whatever I want anyways. You can do it. Go get it." Jack Black is awesome. So when I heard that he was gonna be in a video game, And this video game was going to be about him driving around the streets of hell, apparently, with metal music in the background. That's all I wanted. So that's what makes it a good game, Tyler.
Nick, Jack Black is a great actor and a great person. He has very good moments in movies. I like Keanu Reeves. He did great in the John Wick series lately. Yeah. If you put him as Superman 64, it's not going to make it a good game, okay? Maybe. If you see Jack Black, flying, vertically as Superman, flying around just shooting people, and the sound effect is wow, wow, wow. But
apart from it's just a fun game. It wasn't like amazing. Story was pretty decent. It was just funny. Music was great. But why I put this game on the list? Because I know, but I put this game on the list mainly because this is the first game I got for my Xbox 360 when I got it. When my mom bought me my 360, this game was on sale, and just like I'm just like my mother. Anytime I find a good deal, we're gonna buy it, regardless of whether we need it or not. So if we can get 2, bottles of dishwashing liquid for $3 instead of the usual price, we'll buy it, even though we don't need it.
I had a similar problem with the Scyther. It was on sale in the GTS for 55,000 coins, and it's like, I don't need this right now, but it's a perfect one. It has Technician. Oh my gosh,
What if you need it, right?
It's like I need this. It's just, can I afford it now? It's like, who cares? I can set myself back financially for another 3 weeks of playing.
Right. So on this day in gaming, 15 October in 2009, on the Xbox 360 in Europe. I know I talked shit about European releases, but I don't care because I really like this game. Brutal Legend came out. Now the next 2 games are 2 very important games, which I like to think. Well, I mean, for me, that it's the reason why I have every single Pokemon. Right.
Right.
Okay.
Pokemon Gold and Silver came out for the Game Boy Color in 2000. I never played Gold and Silver, but I played Crystal. Then
it's the same thing, just a little bit later, and it focuses it's more on Suicune.
And then Pokemon Blue came out in Japan on the Game Boy in 1996 on this day, but it wasn't called Pokemon. It was called Pocket Monsters. And I'm not gonna say this.
It's weird because it's supposed to be Aoi, like AOI,
right.
Aoi. But I guess in this it's just AO, but sure.
Thank you for butchering that. I wasn't going to do it. Okay. But it's basically the Japanese word for blue.
Monster, so AO.
Right, now you're going to... okay. Yeah. Tyler, I'm assuming you would have played at least one of these 2 games.
Yes, I did play Brutal Legend. No. I did not get to play the Japanese version of Pocket Monster. In fact, I'm kind of surprised that they focused on this, because I would have thought at the same time Pokemon Green would have came out around the same time as Pokemon Blue in Japan, because that makes sense to me. Because Pokemon Green and Blue were actually, was it Green and Blue or Green and Red that appeared?
See, now I'm confused. You started talking about it, I knew where you're going, but now I don't remember anymore.
I don't remember. I feel like maybe Green was first.
I think Green was first. Green was so Green was first. So that means Red would have come out at the same time too.
I wonder. Yeah. Okay, there's a lot of questions here. Yeah. I did play a lot of that. Fun fact: I ended up getting both Gold and Silver for Christmas that year.
Oh,
so this game would have been out for about 2 months, but my mom told me that I can open up a present early, and of course, me and my dead eye abilities, I spotted the ones that were shaped like Game Boy Color games, and opened up one, and I got myself Pokemon. What was it? Gold. I got Pokemon Gold first, and then I found out later at Christmas she got me Silver. But I have put like 2 months into Pokemon Gold already. It's like, what do I do?
What do you do with Silver? Yeah.
I guess get Lugia. Like, I didn't even know until like about 5 years ago you can get Lugia on Pokemon Gold later in the game. But
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, apparently if you go to Pewter City, just out of the blue, if you go to Pewter City later in the game, you can talk to one of the people that are sitting outside of the Pokemon Center. It's like, oh, by the way, I got the the Silver Wing. It's like, why would you have that? I had to fight the de facto leader of Team Rocket at the time to get this as a gift to go see Ho-Oh, and you're just sitting there with it sticking out of your ass. It's like, okay, sure. But yes, I got to play this. I grew up with this. I did play Pokemon Yellow first, and then I got to play Pokemon Blue, and then it was Pokemon Gold and Silver. So definitely a huge stepping stone in me in Pokemon history.
Yeah, Pokemon Yellow was my first Pokemon game on the Game Boy Advance. I got a Game Boy Advance first, and then my first game was Pokemon was Pokemon Yellow. Then I got Crystal, and then I only ever got like the like Yellow and Crystal were not remakes, but just better forms of their generation. Yes. And so then I got Emerald, and then Platinum, and then it just went on and on and on until they stopped doing that, and now I just have everything.
I was always freaked out, like it felt like cheating actually getting those. I'd be like, I was so dumbfounded when you get Pokemon Crystal after playing Pokemon Gold and Silver all this time. It's like the sprites move. Like what is
yeah, everything was different then.
Yeah. I never saw it as cheating. I saw it as all right. So whenever like Pearl and Diamond released,
the better term.
Jealous, sure, but I was like, all right, I'll just wait for the finished version to come out.
Yes, us beta testers of the game that comes out. I hope you enjoy Pokemon Z someday.
Vicky,
Pokemon Stars.
Any experience with the older Pokemon games?
Yes, I mean when Pokemon Red and Blue came out, I was a little bit of a shyster when I was a child, so I basically was just like very conniving.
Conniving. These are big words.
Scheming.
But I would, scheming.
Cunning.
So I told my mom's side of the family I wanted Pokemon Red. I told my dad's side I wanted Pokemon Blue, so I got both. And then I was like 7 years old or 6 years old. And then when Gold and Silver came out, my grandpa, who spoiled me to death, he took me to the game store and got me both. Because I even said, I was like, no, I'll only have one. I'll only have Silver or Gold. And he was like, no. You could have both. And I was like, all right.
If you insist, if you're gonna twist my arm and have them both.
Yeah, so I love them to pieces. Like I traveled a lot, like between my grandparents' house when I was younger. Like I would sleep by like my mom's mom, or I would sleep by my dad's mom, like almost every weekend because I just loved spending time at my grandparents' house. So I was a big portable gamer growing up. So that's why I grew up with like Golden Sun and all that stuff. Like I didn't really play. Like everyone always talks about Oracle, Ocarina of Time, like Majora's Mask, but I played like Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons because they were like the portable ones of Legend of Zelda. So I was always a big portable gamer. So Pokemon to me, like I even had like when the Game Boy Color came out, that little light that you attach to like the side that like it was like the tiniest little amount of light.
Battery, though, almost instantly. The moment
it really did.
Like if you didn't have solid Duracell batteries full charge ready to go. If you had it like the Game Boy Color running for like more than 3 minutes, you plug that in, it would kill it instantly. For me, it was just frightening. But I got a little cool light for a second. That made me
I know, right? And you felt so cool too. You were like, see, I could see my screen in the dark.
And
but it was great.
I was with the group of friends where there was that one guy that had like the unfolding magnifying screen that folded 3 different ways. And I'm like, this isn't even my final form.
Amazing. I love it.
Close. I did not have anybody that had the printer though. I was kind of upset about that.
There was a printer?
I did not have the printer either. But my friend recently went to, because there's a lot of like old school video game shops in New York City, which I can't wait to go to because I'm going to be in the city. I'm going to be going back home in a couple weeks. And he bought a Game Boy printer and he was like having so much fun with it. He's like, this is great.
Yes, there is a printer. The original use for me anyways was if you caught a Pokemon and you had it in the Pokédex, you could print out its sprite as a sticker on this Pokemon printer.
Oh, that's sick.
And I believe the use I wanted it for back in the day was for the Game Boy camera. Nice. Really cool. The idea you could take pictures with this very horrible resolution camera, but it was still good, and then print it on the thing, and then it would be a good old laugh. But obviously it didn't go so well.
Right.
So.
My exposure, like I learned about the Game Boy Advance in 2003 because I was in India for the summer visiting family, and then my cousin who grew up in the States was visiting us, and I hadn't seen her ever. And then she got this Game Boy Advance with her, and me and my other cousin were fighting over it constantly because we'd never seen it. We were like, what is this? And she had a Jimmy Neutron game on it, the one I think based on the movie that came out around that time. And so we were just fighting over taking turns, and then I just guilt tripped my parents hard into buying me one. That's
I mean, not to be the spoiler here, Jimmy Neutron started as a movie. You do know that, right?
I thought it started as a TV show.
Oh no, the movie came first and then TV show came afterwards.
I
didn't know that. I honestly didn't know that. I only ever watched the TV show, and then I heard a movie came out.
Oh yeah, the movie came out, like it focused on the aliens abducting them and all that stuff. And then those aliens do return later in the TV show, but I'm almost 100% certain that the movie came out first because they introduced Jimmy Neutron. But I shouldn't say that because now I'm very
learn something new every day.
I know. I'm teaching about Game Boy printers and Jimmy Neutron's origin story. A lot better than the Fetish Kingdom. Oh God.
Right.
Sorry.
Anyways,
I know. Last episode.
Anyways,
let's go forward.
We're gonna it's gonna be wrap ups and plugins time. Vicky.
Yes.
Where can we find you? What do you do? Just tell us everything.
I'm gonna just go down the line.
Just
So you can find me on Facebook at fb.gg/GeekChicksTV. You can find me on Mixer at mixer.com/GeekChicksTV. You can find me on Twitter at GeekChicksTV and Instagram at GeekChicksTV. And that is where I am.
Ooh. You have a podcast yourself too, right? Do you want to talk
I do. It's in its very early stages. I only have like 3 episodes, but it's called podcast.exe, and it's basically just me babbling about whatever I decided to babble about that day.
Hey, a variety stream where you talk your own thoughts. I actually did something similar to that, but I realized that I hated the way I talked. And so as the first critiquer of my own stuff, I almost had to take it down instantly. And I tried a second idea where I scripted me talking to myself on 2 different audios put together.
Yeah.
Someone told me that was
okay.
So I was like, oh, 2 times Tyler. There's 2 of me talking to each other. Didn't work out. So
Tyler, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at 2 times Tyler, all letters, all one word. I'm starting to ponder the thought of maybe becoming Tyler 2 to steal the thunder of the famous Tyler 1. I'll be the good, good. He's the evil version. I'm the good one. But I'm also on twitch.tv/2 times Tyler. Thanks to the job, my schedule has been thrown off into a loop. Honestly, I should just be streaming every single time I play Minecraft or Pixelmon, just to keep people informed that I'm alive and well. Because I've actually had best friends who don't talk to me as much on the phone become concerned with my mental or my personal health after I stopped streaming for a week. You're like, are you okay? Do you need help? And it's like, yeah, I got a new job. It's like, oh, thank God he didn't tell me. I was like, I posted everywhere, dude. But much like I was worried about Nick's health during the days that he didn't get me back in Pokemon Go, I too had received moments of concern and all that. So yes, that's twitch.tv/2 times Tyler, and then Twitter is also 2 times Tyler. What about you though, Nick?
Twitch.tv/LRWarrior11 on Instagram and Twitter at LRWarrior11.
What do you post on Twitter or Instagram? I know you post on Twitter.
Nothing. I push it so hard, but I post
right there,
nothing.
ladies and gentlemen, the hottest.
You should I'll do a lot of scenery pics. I'll do a lot of pics from home, a lot of the desert and stuff like that. And then mostly a lot of my stupid face, just there, kind of like fuzzy and warm and inviting sometimes. But if this has been an episode. This is Casual Master Quest. You can find us on Twitter at MasterQuestPod, or you can email us at casualmasterquest@gmail.com. Any last words, Tyler?
Yes.
Vicky?
I do have a last word.
Yes.
I just want to say hi. Vicky, I do appreciate you coming on the show. You have been an excellent addition to this episode, and this was probably one of the most exciting ones. This was the shakeup I think I needed to the podcast. No offense to you, Nick. Sorry, but I got options now. Anyways, you were awesome. Thank you very much. You actually did open a good light into the eyes of streaming outside of the Twitch world. Plus, we had a good moment there talking about Pokemon, which always warms my heart. As you can see behind me, I'm slightly a Zelda and Pokemon fan.
Just a tiny bit.
I feel that. I can respect it.
If one were to call me a Nintendo fanboy, I'd say, please, that was my father's name.
That's a compliment.
Yes, it would be a pretty good number. But no, that's pretty much it on my end. I'll probably be, if you do see me on streaming, it's probably going to be Pixelmon for the time being. I am trying to get Hellblade into the mix there, but I want to dedicate, 2 good sessions and 3 hours.
Good session, Ted. Yeah.
So I'm thinking maybe on Sundays I'm going to stream Hellblade, not Pixelmon. I don't got Pixelmon on the braid. No, I don't want a perfect Scyther so I can get a nice Scizor, my favorite Pokemon. Second fun fact, my license plate in my car is personalized to say Scizor on the back.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And I got a pixel art sticker, a la like a Super Game Boy printer of it, printed on the back with the image of the gold trainer, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You got gold and they got silver, and then I got a gold trainer. So it's like me with a Scizor behind me, and like a Scizor. It's like, you want to fight?
Yeah. That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
The point of that was, though, and I know I'm dragging this on, I'll wrap it up real quick, because I got a big red pickup truck that I just bought, and I was like, oh, a big red steel truck would be nice for this. And then it turned out that there was $3,500 worth of damage to it that didn't get mentioned when it got sold to me, so I ended up scrapping that. So yeah, That was a dark day. I still give my wife the eye for doing that.
Oh, God.
I won't bring it up. I want to stay married. That's it on my end. That is, I'll stop talking. I love rambling.
Right. Vicky, any last things you wanted to mention?
Just thank you so much for having me. I like doing podcasts because they're not as strenuous as like actually like streaming games to me. So I always love doing this kind of stuff. So I really appreciate you guys having me.
Awesome.
Thanks for coming. Yeah, no,
thank you.
Too. It's been a bit of a shaky start to the season. It's just something new, and we're having fun with it. But this has been an episode of Casual Master Quest. Thank you very much for listening. Hope you all have a wonderful life. It's not like I'm leaving you.
A wonderful life. You never
oh my gosh, do I need? Are you?
I'm not making an announcement.
Get some Pokemon Go, Nick. Are you okay? Do I need to?
I just haven't been opening it. But thank you very much for listening, and don't forget to never stop the grind.
I love you.
Find more of our work by searching for Casual Master Quest on iTunes, Google Play, and other podcast players. Check out what we'll be doing next week on Twitter @MasterQuestPod.